Welcome to the Metal Detecting Podcast, brought to you by XP Metal Detectors. We're digging the plugs and pinpointing the topics you want to hear. Now here's your hosts, Dave Kimball and Grant Hansen.
This show is brought to you by XP Metal Detectors. XP Metal Detectors is a high-end, innovative metal detector company with high-end metal detectors, coils, and pinpointers. For more information, go to xpmetaldetectors.com. For a dealer near you, try a Google search or go to xpteamusa.com. Hello and welcome to the Metal Detecting Podcast. I'm your host, Dave Kimball, coming to you from Central Oklahoma, and I'm joined today by my co-host, Grant Hansen, coming to you from New Jersey. How you doing, Grant?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Watching a lot of crazy news and makes me want to stay out in the country more.
Man, I don't blame you. It's just bad news after bad news that you see out there, and you wonder what this world is coming to. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But I think we have the perfect hobby, though, to kind of escape, right? And just get out by ourselves and close out the world behind our headphones and just listen for some beeps.
You're right. You're right there. It is a good hobby. Get out there. You're staying away from everybody. No worries. Just get back there and do your own little meditation.
Exactly. And then that's what it is. It's meditation. You're just focused, you're swinging, and very repetitive. And that's how I relax. I'm not the type of person who can just lay on the couch and veg or take naps, or I've never been like that. I have to be active, and this is really good for me.
Right. Yeah. I've been out hunting a little bit here and there. I've been wanting to get out again and do some permissions. I keep hearing people talking about their permissions being hunted out. Do you ever have a problem with hunted out permissions?
I don't, and I look at them as a challenge. Anytime I've gotten a permission and somebody's like, "Oh, it's been picked over many times," I'm like, "All right, well, maybe this is arrogant," but I'm like, "It hasn't been searched by me." So yeah, I go out there and I usually find something good, and the owners are always surprised.
Yeah, I agree. I even been at some parks that have been really hammered by a bunch of people out here, and they're old parks, and I found some pretty good stuff, and I mean, one park I hit not too long ago, I found a Walking Liberty $50 and right in the middle of it. It's been missed by so many people going over that.
Right. And that's just the thing too, a signal like that, which is probably so big and banging. I bet you a lot of people, if they did hear it, they said, that's a Coke can. I'm going to skip that one.
Actually, it was right next to a pull tab, and it brought the numbers down a little bit from what you would expect. And that's what a lot of people don't realize when they dig trashy areas like that, and they try to really go through and cherry pick it. When you dig everything, you get all the bad signals out of there, and it brings out the good signals. And sometimes the good signals are masked by the bad signals.
You're 100% right. I mean, most of the properties I detect on are just so iron infested. So I very rarely get a clear, bright, isolated signal. It's always surrounded by something. So I just have to listen for that little squeak, that little hope and glimmer, and then dig it. And most of the time it's junk, but right. The times that it's not junk are really worth it.
Oh yeah, right. And it's all about knowing your machine. I hear a lot of beginners talk, they're angry about their machines, and they say, "Why can't I want a machine that'll not let me dig trash." But if you want to find something good, you're going to be digging trash. I mean, you can cherry pick all you want, and you can get good stuff all day, but there is better stuff in there that you have not found that's masked by trash.
That's right. And a pull tab, it's going to sound good. You're going to have to dig it up. It's just the nature of the beast. I mean, and getting back to hunted out, I mean, I went to a property this past weekend that I've detected personally about 4 times. I don't know that I've ever detected there with a Deus. It's been a few years since I've been there, but I said, you know what? let me go back. I'm going to be in a different mental frame of mind where I'm not going to expect anything. I'm going to dig iffy signals, and I'm just going to go slow and see what happens. And it was such a peaceful day, and I found some really cool stuff.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Yeah. You think your Deus might have helped with the maybe the reactivity or something like that?
I do, yeah, for sure, because I had the reactivity turned up a little higher between 3 and 4 mostly, just to get through everything. And then what I was doing, and I actually just put out a video on it, is I was finding the signals on the higher reactivity, and then I would bump the reactivity down low to 1, and then swing it really slowly over the target just to show that at the slow speed, sometimes it comes out brighter and louder. So it's kind of a good way to double check the signal to see if you really have something there.
Yeah. Well, yes, that's a great video too. If anybody wanted to check that out, go on our YouTube channel and check out Grant's video on XP Team USA. You talk about the reactivity and had a good way to use it and kind of describe it a little bit.
Yeah. So I've tried to do some live digs, and when I'm out there, I try not to put on a character or anything like that. This is just capturing me and how I detect, and hopefully people enjoy it. But yeah, just going and showing the signals, putting the machine on speaker so that everyone can hear along, and then just going into the menu and changing those settings and showing what it sounds like on different settings. Hopefully it's instructional, and even if you don't use an XP, they're still entertaining to watch as far as just finding stuff.
All right. Yes, exactly. I mean, you don't have to be an XP owner to enjoy the videos. They're high quality. They're good. We find some good stuff, and it's good shows.
Yeah, and I'm always trying to get better. Like you're trying to understand the YouTube world and what people like to see. And I know what I like to see. I like to see live digs. I don't want somebody just coming over with the plug already done. Although sometimes I do that because filming's hard. It's tedious.
Exactly.
So if you try to film everything, you're not going to get anything done.
Yeah. There's many times I try to get all the camera all set up and everything, and I dig it up, and it's something I'm like, that's not what I want.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of footage that does not make the cut. I'll throw in some of the junk in there just to keep it real, because I think some people, you go out there like, oh, all they're finding is great stuff. I'm like, no, it's not the case.
So what kind of camera do you use where you're doing your videos?
I've got a GoPro Hero 7, which I really like. I used to have the Hero 4, and it was very scratchy when it came to noise quality. Any little bit of wind, or if you bumped it, it would just screech. And the 7 is so much better. And what I like about it is it's got audio controls. So I can just say, GoPro, start recording, and GoPro, stop recording. And it just does it, so I don't have to even touch it.
That's nice. Does it have a microphone jack?
It does, and I've actually got a wireless mic for it, but it's kind of the wireless hookups to this particular camera. You need an adapter, and there's no elegant way to secure it to the housing, so I have to use rubber bands and things like that. But it's not the greatest setup for a wireless mic.
Well, you see, I may be getting here maybe in a few months a 3D printer, and it just interests me a lot, and there's a lot of stuff you can do with it. But maybe I come up with something to hold it with a 3D printer.
That would be really, really good. And I bet you there's a lot of people who'd want to buy that from you, because, I go on the forums or watch YouTube videos, and you just see people with rubber bands trying to stick this thing to the top of their camera, and it's bulky. And so, yeah, I'd be interested to see what you can come up with.
Oh, yeah. What kind of program do you use to edit your software?
I use Adobe Premiere. I find that's pretty simple to use, although every time Adobe releases an update, it changes the interface. And like this past week, I was like trying to use the type tool and just add a caption, and I just couldn't figure out how to do it. So I said, I'm just going to make a graphic and put it in. But for the most part, it's good. You can export it, for YouTube or other formats, and it's fairly intuitive if you're doing basic stuff like I'm doing.
Right. Yeah. I use that also. I haven't used it in a little while, so I'm not familiar with the new interface that you're talking about. I might have to click on there and check it out.
Yeah, you get comfortable with something and then they go ahead and change it up.
Yeah, that is frustrating. Yeah. Well, I've been wanting to get out to the lakes here lately. I recently got a water kit for my Deus, and I've been wanting to stick it in the water and do some beach hunting, because I used to do that with another machine a while back, and I haven't done it in a long time, and I'm kind of missing it. And I'm ready to get out and do it, especially now right after Memorial Day, and I can get out there in the water, because a lot of people were out there on the lakes this weekend.
I mean, yeah, I'm dying to get out there too. I don't know if I have any lakes near me to do it. I might try some streams and things like that. But I mean, all you have to do is watch a few minutes of the Minnesota Beach Boys to get the fever.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And they came out with a new video too, didn't they?
They did. Yeah. It just dropped, a few days ago, and they're pulling out rings left and right. And it's just like, it's crazy.
Oh, yeah. I found 2 gold rings while hunting, and I found one of them in the water on a beach and out of the lake that I'm dying to get back to. And I found the other one at an old school that I used to hunt all the time with an older machine, and I used to go there every day after work. I'll stop by there and just dig up everything I could find. And it was an old abandoned school that was sitting off to the side of the road that nobody could really see, and I've hit it like crazy, and I finally found a gold ring in there, and I'm dying. I want to get back also with my Deus and try to hit that grounds again with the reactivity and try to see if I can't pull anything else out of there.
That's a really good idea. I mean, when you get a new machine and new settings, it opens up that hunted out property all over again, because you're just going to hit things that different machine didn't, or you're listening to it differently, so you might be more apt to dig something.
Oh, yeah. So today we got a treat. We got Dave DiNatale, our team captain, and we have not had him on the show yet. We have everybody on our team on our show at least once or twice, but we have not had Dave on yet, so we're glad to have him on.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk to him, and we haven't had him on not because we didn't want to, but scheduling. He's a busy guy, and we kept trying and finally made it happen. So I'm anxious to talk to him about XP Team USA. He went over to England, so I want to hear all about that. I'm sure he's got some great stories.
Oh, yeah. Dave's pretty modest. He's like, oh, nobody wants to hear me talk.
Right. But they do.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, and if anybody remembers one of our previous shows with Terry Shannon, he talked about a new book that he was writing and going out on Amazon. Well, that book was called Detecting the Treasure Coast by Terry Shannon, is now released on Amazon. So go check that out and read it. I can't wait to read it. It's going to be a good book.
Yeah, I just ordered my copy today. So I believe it's going to come on Monday. So I'm excited to read that. He's just got such a wealth of knowledge and incredible finds. Speaking of trying to find gold rings, I mean, he's got mountains of them.
Oh, yeah, he's got... He said he got so many, it's unreal. He was saying, I got what was he saying? He said, I got like 1,000 rings. He goes, no, wait a minute, I think I got 1,000 cases that hold like 100 rings.
Right. So. Right. Well, he's already retired, but if he needed a retirement plan, that sounds like a good one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. Well, when we get back, we'll talk with Dave DiNatale, and we'll be right back.
All right.
If you are looking for more information about XP products such as dealers or updates, then check out MetalDetectorsAmericas.com.
Hello, this is Daniel from XP Metal Detectors Americas, and I just wanted to let you know about the XP Metal Detectors Americas.com website, which is full of information on the K-Use metal detectors and the ORX metal detector. Both are wireless and do all aspects of metal detecting, which is gold prospecting, coins, jewelry, and relics.
This segment is brought to you by Omega Mill Pouches, the official digging pouch of XP Team USA. If you're looking for a rugged, hunt-tested, washable pouch, look no further than Omega Mill. get on eBay and search Omega Mill Pouches. That's OMEGAMILL.
Tonight we welcome someone who helped start it all for the XP Team USA. He is a team captain, leader, and of course a detectorist. Coming to you from Wisconsin, let's give a warm welcome to Dave DiNatale. How you doing, Dave?
Doing fine. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, welcome to the show, and we finally got you on. It's been a while, but managed to make it happen. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I thought you guys forgot about me. No.
You've been pretty busy. We've been trying to get you on here for a while, and we're really happy to get you
Well,
on.
you know what? You guys got so many great guests. The last thing they want to hear from is from me. So I enjoy your guys' show. You guys do a great job. Just the variety of guests are amazing. So really appreciate all the hard work you guys put in.
Thank you. And you know what? I disagree. I think they do want to hear from you. And I think a question on a lot of people's mind is, what motivated you to start XP Team USA, and how did you actually make that happen?
Well, I didn't really seek it out per se. It was really just kind of fell into place. I was hosting another podcast that was sponsored by XP through Gary Blackwell. That show ran its course. Another one ensued. One door closes and another one opens, you might say. It was supposed to be just another type of XP show, but unfortunately, a few didn't know the meaning of give and take and weren't willing to put the time in, without immediate compensation. So I parted ways with them and rebooted the team. My vision was to show XP what we could offer them. Surround myself with good people, who were trustworthy and willing to put the work in, and then just lead by example. And getting good people was a big challenge. Most people's ideas of being on a team is glamour and glitz, all that traveling over the country, attending events and signing autographs and all that free gear. And once they found out that that wasn't the exact case, most just fizzle out and were released from the team. So the team has evolved and changed over the years, and, it will continue to evolve.
So being out of Wisconsin, what type of metal detecting do you normally do?
Well, when I first started out, I did high schools, old churches, fairgrounds, parks. I did a few residential permissions based on, my work. If, I had a good relationship with my customers, I would ask them. I don't really like doing door knocking. Just never did, even when I was a kid, selling Cub Scout stuff and hockey and all that. I didn't like going door to door. So now I mostly do farm fields and wherever my travels take me.
When you're out in a park, does anyone give you a hard time? Like, I feel like if I went down to my park, like somebody like a groundskeeper or a resident would come over like, what are you doing? You're digging up the soccer field or, Yeah,
it only happened to me once. Some lady called the police on me. He was real nice about it. They think they owned the park. Said that I was digging up these huge holes, which was a total lie. Actually, one time a police officer stopped me in the fairground, and I go, oh my, what's he want? But he actually was really interested in metal detecting, so I was kind of showing him stuff and how to dig up targets. And I found a V-nickel right at that same time, and he took it into his police car, and he's got his computer out looking at the dates and see how much it's worth. So it's kind of cool.
That is awesome. And quite different than Wisconsin. You actually recently took a trip out to the UK. How did that go?
Oh, man, that was an amazing adventure, and it would never happen if not for a really good friend of mine, Gary Blackwell. And you could not ask for a better host. I mean, sightseeing, the pubs, the restaurants that he took me to. We had a short trip to France for some meetings. And of course, we got in some detecting.
Oh, yeah. So I know you went there with something in mind. Did you actually find a special artifact or coin that you're really hoping to?
Well, yeah, actually, I was looking for my first silver hammered coin. You see them all the time and people yelling out, Hammy, hammered. Oh, so yeah. That was really on my mind through the whole trip. And I thought this wasn't going to be my time. It was the last day. It was raining out. Everybody was cold and wet. And it's like, all right, let's head back to the car. And I would say about 100 feet of land left before we hit the area where we were parked. And bam, I hit my hammered coin. It turned out to be a King Henry VIII silver hammered coin from 1491 to 1507.
Doesn't it just feel awesome holding that in your hand?
It was a great feeling. I just almost gave up on it, and I said, all right, well, I'll probably come back here again, maybe next time. And when I got it, it was just like it just made my whole trip, really.
Yeah, I had a similar experience my first trip out to England. It was, I was a 2 or 3 day rally. It was getting to the end of the last day. The sun's starting to come down. Like, I didn't get my hammered. Oh, well. And I got a pull tab signal, pulled it out. And I actually thought it was a pull tab, like a beaver tail, because it was bent in that shape, and it was actually a cut hammered. And I was just like, I was over the moon. It made the whole trip like that much better.
Yeah, my last day there was actually my last hour detecting is where I found most of my stuff. I found a King George large cent, was the 1600s. I found my first Roman coin. It was pretty wasted. I could barely see a figure on there, but for something that's 1,800 years old, I didn't expect much. And then the guys are kind of laughing. Hey, I got a Roman coin. I'm all happy. But to them, Romans are like wheat pennies, So there's they're a dime a dozen over there. And everybody's looking for those old coins and hammered coins.
Yeah. Speaking of the guys, you were out there not just with Gary, but with the Wyvern Club. Nice bunch of people.
Oh, great guys. And gals. There was one lady there, very welcoming, super organized. The hospitality was just amazing. They served up bacon sandwiches before we headed out. They had the grill going, which is really cool. Then we had a pre-hunt meeting about the different fields that we were going to be allowed on. And the first half of the day, we were going to be allowed in a certain amount of area. And the second half of the day, where I found my silver, was saved for the last part of the day. That was a Roman site. So they kind of want to save the best for last. Real quickly, I want to give a big shout out to Mark Flitton. He was the club leader there. He's a fellow thespian, and I really appreciate him letting us detect for the day.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. Yeah, and for everybody who's listening, go to YouTube and check out our XP Team USA channel, and you can watch that on YouTube with Dave. I was really gunning for you the whole time, and then towards the end, I'm thinking, he's not going to find a hammer. And then he ends up finding it at the very end. Really good.
Yeah, when I was making that video, it was like really sentimental. At first, with all the my friends at the end, and I had all this sad music going. Teary-eyed. I go, wait a second, I don't want that. I don't want that. This kind of video. I want more of a happy kind of ending. So that video, it really took me about a week to put together, because I get like halfway through and I said, nah, this is not the direction I want to go. And so it took a while to put it together, but I'm really happy how it turned out.
So what kind of property were you on? Was there any real history to it?
The first part was an old kind of a shooting range. They had like sports shooting. So we found a lot of shell casings there. They still had the targets where they would stand, and then they would release the birds and things like that. Which that's what I was told. But it was an old Roman settlement, and there were a lot of finds on that last part of the day. It was just planted, so we had to be really careful how we were digging. But I wish we could have stayed on there a little bit longer. Unfortunately, it just started to rain really heavy. The fields were getting really muddy. And like I said, it was just planted. So the guys just thought, hey, you know what? This is great permission. We don't want to ruin it. So they called it a day early.
Yeah, I've been in that situation, unfortunately, too. Spending all the time with Gary Blackwell out there, did you learn any secret tips that you can reveal to us?
Yeah, you definitely better be in shape when you hang out with Gary. He just runs. I think we packed 2 weeks of plans into like 5 days. And, Gary's he's a very private guy. He has a small circle of really good friends. And now I can actually say, in that circle with those guys like Kevin Whitmore, you guys all know him from UK ORX detecting, and good friend Neil and Stuart Mina. He's our editor, and he does some shooting for Gary. Pete from LP Productions, and Luke Higgins. He's Archaeological Magazine. So yeah, if you visit Gary, he doesn't just sit around the house. He wants to go.
So food's a bit different out there. I hear one night you got a surprise meal. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, they told me they were taking me to a castle. So the whole day I'm thinking, all right, we're going to go do a little sightseeing at night, go see a castle. We ended up some small town somewhere. I have no idea where we were. And there was this huge church. We're kind of walking around and looking at it. And then we were waiting for a couple people to park. There's like no parking at all, these small little streets. And so he goes, hey, let's go in the pub and have a beer. So we go into the pub, and all of a sudden this guy comes up, and Gary's, hey, do you know who this guy is? And I had no idea. It was Stuart Mina. He's our editor. I've talked to him many of times and dealt with him, and just I've never met him. I didn't recognize him, so I was pretty blown away. And then 2 seconds later, here comes Luke Higgins, coming up, and so they had this big surprise kind of plan for me, bringing all the guys in to meet up at night. There was no castle. Actually, they were taking me to Stuart's family restaurant. It was an Italian restaurant. It was unbelievable food. Everybody was there. We had a great time eating, drinking. It was a really emotional time. They gave me a really nice medallion of an old coin. It was pretty nice, and it was just it was just surreal sitting in this little restaurant that was from 1,000 years old. I don't know what it was. It was 600 years old. It was just mind blowing, and I had a really, really great time.
That's awesome. That sounds so fun. And you mentioned that the food was really good, but I did hear that you dove into some black pudding, which sounds pretty nasty to me. But did you like it?
That was my first breakfast. Actually, we went to Winchester when I first arrived, and we stopped in a little restaurant, and we got a traditional English breakfast, which included the black blood pudding. And actually, it was pretty good. It was like a sweet, sort of moist bread, I would say, something like that. It wasn't bad at all. I only had it once, but now I could say I tried the black pudding.
Once is enough, I think. Maybe too much. But
it's one thing I can't get over there is they like to drink that warm beer. How do you like that?
I didn't. I had probably beer about 3 or 4 times, and it was never warm, always cold. I do now have an appreciation for English brew. Very, very good tasting. I'm just a Bud Light kind of a guy. Just don't like my beer too harsh and bitter. But Gary was recommending me different types of beers, and tried about a dozen or so, and I didn't, not at one time, but over the course of the week. They were really, really good.
That's good. They drink a lot of cider out there too, I think, more so in the States.
Most of the guys out there were just drinking beer. A couple of them had some wine, but I didn't see any cider being passed around.
And while you were out there, you mentioned earlier you headed over to France and you got to visit XP Factory headquarters. I know a lot of what you saw is probably top secret and you can't tell us about it, but what can you tell us about the trip and their facilities?
Yeah, there's not much I could really say about it. It is pretty top secret. You weren't allowed to take pictures or anything like that. But the facility's definitely top notch. The robotics, just mind blowing. Just imagine putting a detector together back in the day, piece by piece, and you see these robots just banging out coil after coil, wrapping the wires, the mold injections, the resin for the coils being poured. It was just really amazing. The meeting rooms, really professional looking. R&D, got to meet the guys in R&D, research and development, and they actually were showing me some stuff that they were working on, which obviously I cannot talk about. An indoor test field, just a special area just for testing coins and depth and thing like that. This soil was put in. The whole building itself where this test garden was placed was all insulated, so there was no EMI can get in. There was no anything that would affect a coin out in the outside, as far as EMI and things like that was taken care of. So overall, it was just it was a nice tour, and it just really impressive, guys.
Oh, wow. Did they let you check out the tested garden and do it yourself?
No, at the time they were still working on it. I guess when they poured the actual boundaries of it, I guess they used rebarb, and that was a no-no. So they had to rip it all out and redo it. So at the time, it was still under construction.
So how was the staff there at XP? Were they pretty welcoming?
I met everyone, and they were all very friendly. I spent most of the time with Felipe, who's the business manager, and Alain, the owner. Very nice. They treated us like kings. The day went really long, but at the end, Alain took Gary and I out to a really nice French restaurant. Again, I could not tell you exactly where I was. We get in one car and we drive to another place, and all I could say I was in France. So yeah, it was a great experience, and the people were really nice.
That's great. And what I understand, metal detecting technically is not legal in France, right? Although I'm sure some people do it. So it's interesting that they're headquartered there.
Yeah, I asked that question too, but they seem to get out a lot, private land, and kind of keep it hush hush. They do not post fines or anything like that. So yeah, it's very private, and they kind of keep it to themselves.
We'll be right back right after this with Dave D.
Hi, this is Dave D.
Hi, this is Sonia.
R.C. Dunn.
This is Alan. Yep. We're the Minnesota Beach Boys.
This is Kendall.
This is David Kimball.
This is Grant Hansen.
Steve Center. Lynn Quellen.
Hi, this is John.
Josh Kimmel.
Cameron Macer.
Pete Sorrell.
And we are
XP Team USA.
And you are listening to the Metal Detecting Podcast.
This is Michael from XP Metal Detectors Americas. Be sure to check out the new XP ORX metal detector, models starting at $649.
And we're back with Dave D.
So getting back to the United States, last year, XP Team USA made its presence known at some of the larger U.S. rallies like Detect the Heartland and Pound the Ground. Assuming we put COVID-19 behind us, does XP Team USA have plans to continue attending and sponsoring organized digs?
Yeah, right now we have 2 planned. Detecting the Heartland actually moved to Labor Day weekend. So the first weekend in September, we'll be going out to Iowa. And that's just a one-day event. They'll actually have a meet and greet on Friday, one-day event. So that's a smaller event. Dig Stock, according to Pete Sorrell, it's still happening, and that is going to be the second week in October, hopefully. So we are planning for those 2 right now.
And I know, just because I'm more local to Pete than Detect the Heartland, but it seems like he's got some really good land lined up, like new property in addition to last year's.
Yeah, we have some added acreage. Last year, there's a couple fields that we couldn't get on because they weren't harvested yet. So those will be available, and they're kind of moving the venue around a little bit. So where we were last year, which actually wasn't called Dig Stock, it was Pound the Ground, but it's the same field, a bunch of fields plus some, I think another 1,000 acres or something like that added to it.
Wow.
So during your trip to New York State, you had an opportunity to detect on the East Coast. I am envious of this. What was it like for a Wisconsin native?
Yeah, it was pretty much the same. I didn't find anything there, and I didn't find anything over here. Actually, we had one fun day out. We had a permission that it was a museum that we were able to detect. We found a few items on there, nothing really major. I think Sonia found a really nice button, military button. There was a, let's see, what was found on there? So there was a couple silver coins found on there. 1 real was found. But when it came to the actual event, we were really kind of too busy to go out and detect. I went out for maybe an hour or 2, but again, wasn't having much luck. So, and that usually happens when I travel. If I go somewhere on a permission, or if somebody invites you to come on over to detect, more than not, if you expect to go out there just because you're hunting in a different place that you're going to find some really cool stuff, right, don't get your hopes up too high, because more than likely you're going to get skunked.
Yeah. And let's get back to that real that you mentioned finding at the museum property. I was there, and I was gobsmacked because it wasn't found by any of us detectorists, but rather it was, I think the curator of the museum, Gary, was just showing her how a metal detector worked. And lo and behold, she finds a 1700s real.
Yeah, they kind of just pumped some life into everybody, because nothing was really happening. And she just comes out and says, "Oh, can I try?" And Gary says, "Yeah, let's go out and dig a few holes." The second hole, bam, real. So I did find a mercury dime, but that pales in comparison to what you found.
You could say silver, but not really.
You think she went out and bought a metal detector right away?
Maybe. I don't know. I think she was just really excited, but you never know. She could be the next generation.
Right.
of detectorists.
All right, so let's switch gears a little bit and talk about your new live video cast that you co-host with RC Dunn. It's called In the Zone. Can you tell us about that and what people should expect?
Yeah, this is something that we wanted to do for a while, but it just never got off the ground. We tried something similar, but it just didn't have the punch to it. This one's a little bit more fast-paced show with a variety of guests and unexpected surprises. So, we didn't want to have the same old recycled guests going around that say basically the same thing. So, I would say it's kind of like your podcast, what you guys bring to the table, but it's more in a live stream format.
So live video cast. So what was your motivation behind that?
Well, live streaming, brings us closer to, interaction with our viewers in real time. And it gives our viewers a chance to participate and be a part of the experience, be a part of the show.
Yeah, and I think, too, it brings a different dimension in that you're face-to-face in a way, so you don't have to worry just about what you sound like, but also what you look like, how you're coming out on film. So there's probably a lot of preparation that goes into that.
Yeah, definitely a lot of prep. We have to get together with with our guests to make sure they're able to log on properly, kind of, let them know what we're going to be talking about so they can prepare a little bit. And again, you're right. You have to, your face is there. So you have to make sure you're engaged. You can't look like you're sleeping. If the guest is talking and saying something interesting, you have to look, you have to be engaged.
So you and RC, are y'all wearing makeup on this?
We don't have a makeup girl yet. We just got our green room built, but soon. We don't have any of that stuff, guys.
Well, you're saving money on the hair girl, so that's good.
Yeah, we definitely do not need a hair girl. That's for sure.
Good luck. I'm looking forward to the episodes. They're going to come out Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Is that right?
Tuesday night, yep. Eastern time, every other week. I think it rides simultaneously with your podcast. So we're on Tuesday. You guys are on Friday, and it'll be every other week.
Excellent. So if you haven't already, make sure you tune into our XP Team USA Facebook page or go to the XP Team USA YouTube where it streams live as well. And you can participate in both of those. So Dave, over the past couple of years, XP Team USA has grown and expanded its social media presences from Facebook. I just mentioned YouTube. We've got Instagram and Twitter. Do you anticipate any other expansions or growth of content from the team?
Yeah, we're always thinking. Then actually the next phase we're working on now, it's going to trump anything we've ever done. Once all the meetings are done and all the I's are dotted, T's are crossed, we'll announce it. But yeah, it's something big. And I really can't say much about it anymore. I don't want to jinx it. RC almost gave it away last night on the show. But yeah, it's big, guys.
Oh yeah. So go back and listen to that show and pay attention. So for those who are XP users and even those who aren't, what should they know about XP Team USA and that they may not know right now?
Well, as XP metal detectors are on the cutting edge of innovation, so is our team. As a team, we're always looking ahead, and as members, we're always looking to help. So if you have questions, they're going to get answered. If you have problems, they're going to get solved. And as long as the hobby of metal detecting continues to grow, so will our team. And we're always pushing, striving to be the best. And I guarantee you won't see us sitting on our hands or standing on our laurels, and we will never, ever be upstaged.
And I can just speak from my personal experience being on the team. You mentioned, I think at the top of the call about starting the team that, you're not doing it for freebies, you're not doing it for money or fame. And I have to say that definitely rings true. We put a lot of effort into the content, whether it's podcast, you're streaming, YouTube videos. And yeah, it's great to have that platform to showcase what we do. But we're just really passionate about the hobby and passionate about XP. And that's where it stems from. So it's nice to see it grow from that passion and not from any ulterior motives.
Yeah, the key word is passion. If you do not have passion, you do not belong on this team. You know me for a while now, and like I said, I'll surround myself with really good people. But if you're not pulling your weight, you do not belong on this team. And I don't have any hard feelings for people that kind of fizzle out because it is tough. It takes a special breed to be on this team. And most of the people on our team right now are needles in the haystack, and you really have to be somebody special, and you really have to have that passion to be on this team.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. I'm going to have to ask you the same question I ask everybody, because everybody's probably curious about what Dave has an answer for. If you were ever given a one-day pass to metal detect anywhere in the U.S. for one day that's always been off limits, where would you hunt?
Oh, that's easy. Your backyard. I definitely want to know where all the bodies were hidden. So yeah, your backyard, Dave, is that's where I want to be.
Be careful what you might find.
No, actually, guys, I want to go back to the UK. I got to tell you, I got jaded. When I came back from hunting there, I was like, okay, now I'm in the United States, and they were making jokes about there's no history in the United States, which that's not true. But I was like, oh my God, all that history over there. I want more of it, So, but I found out that I'm not jaded. I still love digging here in the United States. But yeah, I definitely want to go to the UK again and just spend a little bit more time hunting there.
Oh yeah, did you get razzed a lot about finding stuff here in the U.S. and it's just not old enough for them?
Yeah, actually, when we went to that club hunt, if you watch my video, you'll see they kind of razzed me a little bit. Somebody came out, said something about God knows you're not going to find history in the U.S. So yeah, it was pretty funny.
That's funny. One of my favorite things to say when I'm over there is I tell them that we were kind enough to allow them to speak the American language, and that got some laughs and maybe some anger as well.
Yeah, you can always say, I guess we helped you, win the wars, and kicked their ass a couple times,
They definitely wouldn't like to hunt here in Oklahoma because we're not nearly old enough here.
But I think, like you said, I think they've got a different expectation that old equals historic, and that's not the case. In the U.S., we've got Revolutionary War, Civil War, World War I, World War II artifacts are coming up, even though the fights weren't here. There's a lot of history there, and I think history is relative to where you are. Even East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, there's good finds, and it's all significant to where you are to dig it up.
Oh yeah, I agree. I think a lot of the history value is what we're looking for, not the oldest stuff. It's the value in the history and what it means and what it meant back then.
Yeah, I still get a kick out of digging up. I call them cool finds. Not everybody, you get the old coins were great, but it's just that something different, something original that you find in the ground.
Right, something you got
and you when you hold it in your hand that wow, this is different, this is original, and you really want to share that with people.
Right, something that you got to do some research and figure out what that is, and then you find out and you're like, oh wow, that's pretty cool. I learned something new.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the whole excitement about it. Yeah, we love to find the coins, but when you unearth that thing that you had no expectation of and you find out it's something really cool, it just feeds the fire.
All right. Well, it was great having you on here, Dave, and I would love to have you back again sometime. And for everybody on here, make sure you check out their podcast, In the Zone, and that's on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Is that right?
Yep. Tuesdays, 7 p.m. That's Central Time. So 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll just go by that every other Tuesday. So we're up again running next in a couple weeks.
Looking forward to it. And again, thanks so much for coming on. It's been worth the wait. And like Dave said, we hope to have you on again soon.
Yeah, I think the next time I come on, I'm going to be announcing some really cool stuff.
Excellent.
Right.
Pretty excited about it. So.
All right. We can't wait. Well, we'll see you.
Take care.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Check us out online at xpteamusa.com.
All right, we're back, and that was Dave DiNatale.
Yeah, it was great talking to him. And, I almost felt like I was going to hijack the conversation just talking about his trip to England because I'm just frothing at the mouth to get back out there. It's just like, talking to him's got me the fever even more. So hopefully, I don't know if we'll be able to make it out this year, depending on what's going on with travel and quarantines and all that kind of stuff. But as soon as I'm able, I'm going to hop on a plane and head over there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'd love to go to England and do some hunting. One of these days I'll be able to, and it may be a year or two, but I'll be able to.
Yeah, I think you'll, at least from my perspective, we hunt old grounds here, and every time you put the spade in the ground, you're excited of what you might find. But over there, it's just maybe because we're not from there. Like every time you look for something, you're like, this could be really, really, really good.
Oh, yeah.
It's just most of the time it's not, but at least it's got that feeling.
Yeah, I mean, even the most common coins that they find over there are like way older than anything we would find over here, and that's very appealing.
Right. They don't consider anything newer than 18th century as old. The 18th century and up they consider that modern.
Oh, yeah. Who knows? Maybe one of these days the whole team will be able to go out there and we'll all get to hunt together.
That would be fantastic. I would love that.
Yeah. Check out our Facebook group page, our Facebook news page, and check out our YouTube channel, XP Team USA. We got great videos on there. We got some new videos. Keep in touch with it because new shows come out all the time. Like I said, follow our Facebook group page. We have contests all the time. We're always doing giveaways. We just gave away an ORX, and that was pretty intense when it got down to 2 people. And we want to congratulate Troy Nacone for winning that ORX. He's already got it, and he's already been hunting with it, and he has bragged about it already.
Yeah, he's already found silver. I think he found, I don't want to say it was a Civil War bullet, but it looked like a Civil War bullet to me. And, I watched that wheel turning around and everyone getting eliminated. And I was nervous watching for everybody. So he must have been sweating. And then just to see your name come up for a prize like that must have been so exciting.
Oh, yeah. It came down to IB Neal and him, and it was just who's going to win it,
Right. Right. Yeah, we'll have more contests, I'm sure, throughout the year, big and small. So make sure you enter. There's always a good chance to win something.
Oh, yeah. And check out the In the Zone on Facebook and YouTube. It's a podcast live video show that Dave DiNatale and RC Dunn are doing. They have a couple of guests on there, and they're every other week, every other Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Check that out. There's a very good show. And also listen to Beyond Sight and Sound with Josh Kimmel.
Yeah, Josh always puts on a great show, a very active chat. So I know a lot of our listeners participate in that too. And yeah, within the zone, I mean, there's just so much more content out there that, if you're really into detecting and good stories, you're never going to be hard pressed to find entertainment.
Yeah, and you can see everybody's mug while they're talking.
Exactly. Right.
All right. Well, we will have our next show Friday, June 12th, and we'll see you then.
Take care, everyone.
All right.
Get that permission, put the coil to the soil, and we'll catch you next time right here on the Metal Detecting Podcast. Brought to you by XP Metal Detectors.